This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to CWK Live every Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm your host, Dan Zaire. Thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. Let's bring in our friends. Mary is here. Mary Purdue, hello. Happy Monday to you, my friend. We also have Brian here with us. Hello, Brian. This is the Monday. Oh, I like that. That's good. Good tagline. And Ben is here, too. Happy Monday. Good to be back after some vacation time. Yeah, Ben. Looked like it was a fun vacation for you, my friend. Brian says, really digging the hat. Thank you. Tonight is the All-Star Game Home Run Derby. Tomorrow's the actual game itself. So as soon as this is over, Mason and I are going to watch the Home Run Derby. So I had to watch my Cubs, wear my Cubs Star Wars hat. It's like the Return of the Jedi poster with the familiar hands on the lightsaber and then going through the sea itself. Pretty cool. It's got the Star Wars sign on the side. I actually wore that on May the 4th a couple years ago. We went to a Cubs-Cardinals game, and I wore the hat. Got a lot of cool compliments. Hello, David. David's here. Hello, Dan and CWK friends. Good to have you, buddy. Really good to have you here. It's great to talk Star Wars with all of you for sure. Well, tonight is going to be fun. We're going to look at top 5 moments from Star Wars Rebels Call to Action. And I've got a lot of new Star Wars collectibles that I want to show you. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week.
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
Well, hello, Blake. He says, the real home run of the Home Run Derby is the stream tonight. Well, that's very kind of you, buddy. Be sure to let everybody know. It seems like a lot of our friends are missing in action tonight, so please be sure to tag a friend. Let them know on Facebook that you're watching a live show. We can have a few friends join our party. Speaking of parties, look at this. Look at this right here. What is brewing in Star Wars? I have seen Lights and Magic, the new Disney Plus series that's coming out next week. Looking at Industrial Light and Magic, I've seen all 6 episodes, and I'm allowed to say, friends, that it is spectacular. It is a wonderful history and view of what happens when you are making special effects. It goes through the history of creating Star Wars and a lot of other movies that you know and love. But not only does it go through the history, but it's also kind of a story within itself, and it just makes you feel like you're sort of part of the action. I wrote a review on Coffee with Kenobi today that has been out there, but it's a fantastic series. I can't wait till you see it. It's definitely something worth talking about. Jason Zeri says, sorry, we're late, didn't get a notification pop up. Well, that's wild. Well, Jason, glad you're here. Love that profile picture too. Henrik is ready to go, and you're both ready. That's great. Hello, Minta. Minta is here too. And Blake says, FY, this didn't pop up on my iPad. Well, that's weird. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know why I did it the same way I always do. Unusual. Ben says the trailer for that did a great job selling it. Some great quotes that get me excited to watch it. You're going to love it. You're absolutely going to love it. And Mita says the same thing. Didn't get the notification. That is so weird. I don't know why that happened. I'm going to look into that. But I don't know. That's weird. Well, I'm glad you're here now, Mita. That's all that matters. Glad you're all here. All right, so San Diego Comic-Con is this week. We've got a lot of great things that are happening from Hasbro. This one is called Boba Fett in Disguise. It's basically his armor. It's all in black. It's got an axe and it's got the jetpack. It's a great looking Black Series figure. Really, really cool. So I wanted to share that with all of you. Then they've got a massive collection that comes with the Mandalorian and his buddy. Of course, not exactly his buddy, I would say. But these troopers are phenomenal. Some great looking stuff here. And then look at this. They also have a feature where you can add fire to the trooper. Also coming out of the Mandalorian's wrist gauntlet. Really cool. And then you also have Moff Gideon with his Darksaber and Grogu with the handcuffs. So that is all in one set. Again, that is available at San Diego Comic-Con. Anthony's here. Hello, Anthony. He says CWK Live and the Home Run Derby tonight. Talk about a win-win. I know. So cool. Ben, I agree. It is amazing. Really great looking. So, the retro collection, of course, my number one collectible as far as action figures go. As a 2-pack that's an Amazon exclusive. My affiliate link is in the CWK Cafe on Twitter and on Coffee with Kenobi's Facebook page if you want to purchase it that way. No pressure, of course. Basically, people keep asking me, what does an affiliate link do? Well, what happens is when you click on the affiliate link, I get a really small percentage of that, and it just helps the show. So that's why we do the affiliate link. But this, you can get Boba Fett and Bosk together. I did go ahead and order this because, well, I have the Boba Fett retro figure. So does Mason, actually. They haven't made a Bosk one yet, so I got to get that. It's just a great figure. I like opening those and putting them out on display. Now, to me, this is the home run of home runs. Blake says, do we know of any Star Wars news coming out of San Diego this weekend? So far, we haven't heard anything, Blake, but it's early because San Diego Comic-Con is just in a couple of days. So hopefully we'll get to see something. But Hasbro did share with us, Blake and everybody, that there's going to be a brand new way to create an action figure of yourself. This is something we promoted on the website as well. And basically you can add your face with, and you, I think if what I understand is correct, what you do is you go on to the Hasbro Pulse app and you scan your face. And once you do that, you're able to put your face on an action figure. Now as far as the official way they're going to do that, I think we're going to find out more this week. It's called the Hasbro Selfie series. Again, these are 6-inch figures. Again, if you go to our Coffee with Kenobi website, you're going to see it. But basically, the announcement says it's a brand new personalization platform with the first product introduced through Hasbro Selfie series. They're custom figures. You can get a collector-grade 6-inch action figure in your likeness based on classic to current characters seen across popular films. And here are the ones you can choose from as far as the body goes. G.I. Joe, Ghostbusters, Power Rangers, and Marvel, and some designs inspired by Star Wars heroes. We're hoping to get more information about this during San Diego Comic-Con. And I guess it's going to be launching in the fall of 2022 exclusively on Hasbro Pulse. No idea yet of how much it's going to cost. But you know what? To me, it's not really a question of am I going to do this, but how many figures am I going to do it with? I mean, G.I. Joe and Star Wars, of course, comes to mind right away, but this is great. So there's one image in likeness, and there's another example. This young lady, she is on, it looks like Scarlet from G.I. Joe, but talk about cool. I was stoked about this, and yes, I do believe they come with the accessories. Minta says it would be a great gift for my husband and myself. Yeah, of course it would. Brian says you used to be able to make your own characters at Star Wars weekends at Walt Disney World. My brother and dad got to make a figure of themselves in carbonite. I always wished I could do that, Brian. It was at, they did one at Star Wars weekends, but they also used to do them at Celebration in Orlando, and then they stopped doing it. And you should post your picture or your figure in the CWK Cafe. I'd love to see it. Mary says that Chaz did this as well. Mary, yeah, I'd also love to see his. It does come with the accessories. And then Blake says a few big video games like NWA, how nice. NBA 2K has done this, I believe, and the technology has been pretty spot on. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, the photorealism that looks great with the actors, so I think it's going to be awesome. So, yes, this is something I am definitely interested in. I really can't imagine anything much cooler than that. However, speaking of cool, I thought this week's Star Wars Rebels episode that we're talking about is called Call to Action, which is great. So far, I seem to be on it, and I have the correct episodes and images, unlike last week. So thanks again for bearing with me. Star Wars Rebels Call to Action is a great episode. I think this is after this, I think there are only 2 left in season 1. So 3 episodes left. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Call to Action. A great episode. I would give this a 5 out of 5 for sure. Let's do it, man. So number 5 for me, for this episode, is Kanan's bike move. This isn't the exact picture of it, but early on in the episode, they're being chased by the Imperials, of course, as they always are in Star Wars Rebels, especially in Season 1, on Lothal. And Kanan spins around while his bike is still driving with his blaster and blasts a couple of troopers as they're chasing him down. It's a really slick image, really, really cool looking, and I loved it because, of course, I always like Kanan Jarrus doing anything. So that's my number 5, Kanan's bike move. Mary says, I've got the right show this week. I know. I appreciate your patience, Mary. Brian's number 5. Within the first 60 seconds, Grandma Tarkin scolds, chews up, and spits out Minister Tua, Agent Callus, and the Grand Inquisitor for their failures in dealing with the rebels. A shame we don't have someone who specializes in dealing with them. And he looks over at the Inquisitor kind of sideways. That's great. Number 5 for Mita is outrunning the troopers. And Mary's number 5 is Tarkin saying, I knew the Jedi. Yeah, that's going to come up later on mine too. David's number 5, Zeb not wanting to leave his new turbo gun. Ezra ends up saving Zeb from getting blown up. That was pretty fun. Good call, David. Jason's number 5, the Imperial probe droid always raises the tension levels. It does, and just that sound is just so great. And Henrik's number 5, the speeder bike chase through the alley. That's an awesome one. Thank you for sharing that one. That's so cool. Well, again, if you're joining us late or later, and you want to jump in and add your top 5s here, or in a CWK Cafe later, Twitter, whatever, that's totally fine. However you want to do it is totally cool with me. Ben's number 5, Ezra uses the Lothcat to take out the probe droid. Shows how far he's come since joining the Ghost Crew. He's less impulsive, more creative, and using his training from Kanan. That's right. Blake says, I'll cheat like I do every week and still say the music. That's not a cheat. I think that's valid. The new stuff blended with the classics, I'll always give a nod to. That's cool. And Blake, in your profile picture, are you guys on the field? That's pretty cool. It sure looks like that anyway. All right, pardon me. Let's go to number 4. Number 4 for me is the one that Ben just mentioned. Ezra using the Lothcat to attack the probe droid. Not only is it cool to see Ezra getting stronger in the Force and tapping in that particular skill set, which not every Jedi has, but seeing Lothcat's attack was just cute. It was cute. It was funny. I love the probe droids anyway. So Lothcats and probe droids together, pretty fun. Yes, it's cool seeing Ezra evolve, but I picked this not for as intelligent of a reason as Ben put, but because I just giggled because I thought it was funny. But yes, it's very important. Minta's number 4, Kanan versus the Inquisitor. Kanan held his own against him, even though he sacrificed himself for the others to escape while he was taken prisoner. A really heroic thing, which is totally Kanan. You can also see he's getting more confident and more focused on who he is. Jason's 4 is Tarkin's arrival on Lothal. Return of the Jedi vibes, definitely. Henrik's number 4 is how evil Tarkin is. Yeah, he is not nice. Brian's number 4, Ezra following in his parents' footsteps and being the voice of the resistance on Lothal. A great moment in the series, for sure. Not only the episode, but the series. Dave's number 4, the evil throughout the episode is shown in the Grand Inquisitor's eyes, yellow and evil. Good catch, David. Mary's number 4, the probe droid. The conversation about it between Sabine and Ezra. Does it see us? Not yet. How can you tell? We're not dead. That was pretty good, too. I like that. Blake says, number 4, I'll agree with Dan as the Lothcat attack. The more I see those felines in action, the more I think real cats are from a galaxy far, far away. You're probably not too far off from the truth. Tarkin shows up, number 4, for Ben. It takes a lot of rebelling to attract the attention of the Grand Moff himself. He's very evil in the episode. He's Palpatine without the Force. That's a good point. And I think that's pretty fair. Tarkin is always fascinating because he's just so nasty. And Palpatine clearly seems to stay out of his way. At least we've never seen that he doesn't, because, I mean, Tarkin is like a finely sharpened instrument that the Emperor doesn't even have to shape or mold. Tarkin seems to do it himself. All right, let's look at number 3. Number 3 that I have is when Tarkin, now look, this is the scene where these two fellows, Grint and Oresco, I believe that's their names, they get decapitated. It's pretty gruesome. Pretty gruesome. But that's not why it's my number 3. My number 3 is Tarkin's history lesson, how he talks about the Jedi and his experiences with them. I really like in the story when they tell the story and they share the mythology as they're living it. I just really like that aspect of it. So Tarkin's history lesson is just kind of a cool way to bring the story to life, showing that these characters live the story of Star Wars inside the story itself. Hopefully that makes sense. I really think that's cool. Minta has got a great pun. She says, Loth Cats versus the Pro Droid. What a catastrophe. Sorry, not sorry. You shouldn't be sorry. That's great. I love that. Well done. In fact, let me see. Do I have a laugh track here? I don't. So I'll give you applause Minta, for the pun. Brian's number 3, Tarkin's elevated tactics, having the Grand Inquisitor execute Oresco and Grint, taking out the Empire's own comm tower. Elevated tactics is correct. Jason's number 3, Zeb, but I like this gun. And Henrik's number 3 is the Loth Cat attack. So these are great. We both mentioned them differently. I like that we have so many ones that are similar to one another, but yet we have different ways that we explain them, or just different ones hit us at different times. And it varies based on whether we put them 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. So that's fun. Love this community. David's number 3, the arrival of Grand Moff Tarkin and his dressing down of Minister Tua, Callus, and the Grand Inquisitor. Yeah, Steven Stan really brought his A game for this episode. Ben's number 3, Kanan's line about not understanding his teachings till he had to teach them to Ezra. I love that too. That's my honorable mention. Kanan grows as a Jedi thanks to Ezra showing up. So I almost put this on my list, but I feel like I am getting so predictable because I always pick a Kanan teachable moment. So I saved one off, but I'm glad you brought it up, Ben, so I can talk about it because it's one of my favorite parts about this episode. Blake's number 3, spending time on Lothal. I was behind a few weeks due to vacation, being away last weekend and visiting these planets I love so much is like Star Wars comfort food. It's more of a timing thing over maybe an actual top. But that's great. I like spending time on Lothal. In fact, in later seasons of Rebels, they're not always on Lothal, so I really relish this first season because we get to see so much of the planet. So I am with you there, dude. Very much so. Okay, did I get everybody? I think I did. Okay, well, let's move on to number 2. Again, if you have one or want to add something else, please feel free to go ahead. But number 2 for me, I believe Minta mentioned it earlier. It's Kanan's stand. Him facing the Inquisitor. He's clearly more confident. The Inquisitor even says, oh, you've been practicing. Kanan doesn't seem worried. He seems more comfortable in who he is and how he's handling himself. There's some great visuals on that one as well. So Kanan's last stand is, or not his last stand, fortunately. Kanan's stand is number 2 for me because I just really like seeing him fight. I like his nobility. I like seeing his confidence. And even the Inquisitor can't help but say, you know what? I give you credit, dude. You're doing well. Number 2 for Minta, Tarkin's true colors. From the moment he arrived on Lothal, he kept a cool head and showed no favoritism to anyone, not even the Inquisitor, yes. Yeah, he clearly doesn't seem that impressed with what the Inquisitor is doing, does he? Or who he is. Mary's number 2 is Kanan and Ezra talking before the mission of the tower. They are learning together. That's cool, yeah, learning together. Love that. Teacher and student learning from each other. That's the best. As you know, Mary. Jason's number 2, Hera's choice to leave Kanan in the tower so the mission can succeed, and her resolve at the end of the episode to get Kanan back. Love it. Henrik's number 2 is, I thought I had 3 minutes. Well, now you get 1. I know, at first it was 5, then it was 3, and then he said, nope, you only got 1. The Empire doesn't care about their timing, do they? Brian's number 2. The use of the Imperial theme throughout the episode really sets the tone of impending doom at the beginning, as well as Tarkin's entrance at the comm tower. Ooh, yeah. Epic. It's going to come up for me, too. Spoiler, David's number 2. Ezra's inspirational speech at the end of the episode. Many times these speeches are such a cliche, but not this one is excellent, and dare I say it, Dan, poignant. I agree. It's very poignant, and I'm glad that you said it. It's true. Ben's number 2, Ezra's message to Lothal. I specifically like how he references his new family and how they are rebelling to stand for the people of Lothal. It's very cool. And just like what David just mentioned, it's a great moment. A great moment. An important one. Blake's 2 is the Grand Inquisitor executing the 2 Imperials. For good and bad guys, I think a major part of Star Wars storytelling is showing consequences. Oh, that's a great point. It's been a hit or miss thing after here recently, but even to see the bad guys get it tonight feels so refreshing to see it again. Yeah, consequences for your actions. I never thought about that as a theme in Star Wars, Blake, so you just educated me on something I never thought about before. That's really cool. So let's go ahead and jump to number 1. Top 5. Number 1 for me is The Arrival. The Arrival. Brian has mentioned it just a little bit ago, but I think the arrival of Tarkin, the shift in the tone, the lighting, starts out at nighttime. The Imperial March, obviously, all of the troops lined up ready to meet. It's very similar to Return of the Jedi. But the first time we saw it, we're like, I remember thinking, is this going to be Darth Vader? Who is it? But it was, in fact, Grand Moff Tarkin, newly appointed. The Grand Moff, by the way. The Imperial intro. Blake says, Blake is educating the educator. That's right. We should always stop learning. Or stop. Nice. We should always learn. You never stop learning. That's what I meant to say. You never stop learning. So that's good. Means is number 1, a message of hope. You could see that Ezra's message of hope was starting to take effect on the locals. It was clear the mission his parents started, as well as his new family, was starting to sink in Ezra's mind. Yes, it was. Very powerful. Mary's number 1, Ezra's message to Lothal. He has found a new family, but he's also following in the footsteps of his biological family. He continues to mature into a young man from being a street rat. Yes. Jason's number 1 is Kanan's sacrifice at the Tower Gate. This is one of the moments that makes Kanan one of my top 5 favorite Jedi. Totally agree. Next number 1 is Kanan versus the Inquisitors. So it seems we all love the Kanan part at the end. Speaking of, Brian's number 1. Look at that. Look at all of us on the same page. Kanan's sacrifice to save the others. He has become more confident in his abilities again. I'll be right behind you. Yeah. And you get the sense that Ezra knows, yeah, Kanan's got something different in mind. But it's so cool how it happens, how it comes to life. David's number 1, Kanan and Ezra's private talk. Ezra is worried about speaking out because of what happened to his parents. He's worried about losing Kanan and the Ghost crew. Kanan talking about sacrifice and foreshadowing his ultimate sacrifice later in the series. I had thought of that as well. I don't know if they thought about that when they made this episode or not. That'd be interesting to find out. But it definitely does play out that way for us, I would say. And then Ben's number 1. Kanan stays behind to let his friends go. He makes the ultimate sacrifice for his family. But I love how much confidence he has doing it. No fear, just hope. That's right. He doesn't seem scared. He's not trepidatious or nervous like, oh, this is my last hurrah. He just has hope and optimism that he's doing the right thing. And he lives in that moment. Pretty impressive. Blake's number 1, Tarkin arriving to the military base. It has vibes of the Emperor arriving on Death Star 2 and Return of the Jedi. You can sense the fear and sense of urgency with a high-ranking Imperial such as himself being there. I wish I could ask Filoni 100 questions on all these episodes. I do too. In fact, I've got a list of questions I plan on asking him someday. Mary says, David, our 1 and 2 are just flips. So cool. Isn't that funny? Like, we're all really on the same page. I think it's a great episode. And the way they've made it, the key beats are so strong and powerful that you can't help but get excited. And we find similar interests in all these things, which is great. Oh, cool. So I just checked my calendar for something. Got something cool planned in about 3 weeks. Looking forward to that. I might tease that a little bit next week, but know that we've got something cool coming in a couple of weeks on CWK Live for sure. But next week, by the way, thanks everybody for making your lists and talking about it with us. Tonight is top 5 moments from Star Wars Rebels Rebel Resolve. And that'll work out really, really nicely. And then the week after that, we can talk about the finale of season 1 and talk about lights and magic. So great stuff. And hey, we all got the same episode, so it looks like I'm back on my A game again. Thank goodness. Let's go ahead and jump into Ask Dan Z. Blake says, great top 5s, everyone. Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate everybody's insights and passion. And Ben says, I think you just teased it this week. Well, I did, but not like I have in mind. So yeah, all I'm saying is there's something coming, but we're going to get much more next week. Much more. It's going to be fun. All right. It says, yes, great minds. Yeah, David and Mary, great minds. That's a good team right there. Gosh, I can't wait till next summer, by the way. Blake says, Dan, we needed a backstory to that hat. So a couple years ago when they started doing these cross promotionals with Major League Baseball and Star Wars Night, they sold hats like this at every ballpark that was doing Star Wars Night. You know, it's a similar idea with the lightsaber cutting through the logo. And the Cubs were one of them. I wasn't at that game because I didn't even know what was happening. And then next year for Star Wars Night, I went. There was no special hat, but there was a place across the street from Wrigley Field, and they had a couple of these hats left, fortunately, and I bought one. I was so excited. It's great. I wear every time I go to something, whenever there's a baseball, Star Wars promotion, which does happen, I definitely wear these. I like to wear them on live shows sometimes. So good. Brian says, who are you and Mad Eye Mason rooting for? I'm rooting for Kyle Schwarber because he's a former Cub, and I think he's great, and he got second place a couple years ago. And Mason, I think, would like to see Pujols win, or he's got like 4 or 5 people that he's rooting for. I think we're just kind of taking it round by round. Jason says, Henrik would like to know if you can make a double-bladed lightsaber at Galaxy's Edge. He'd also like to know what color crystal you think he should use. Oh, gosh. So that's a good question and a hard one, Henrik. What I did is, while I tried, there are a lot of characters I like, and certain lightsaber colors with certain characters mean something to me. Like green with Qui-Gon or blue with Luke and Empire, something like that. Ultimately, I picked my favorite color because I knew at the end of the day, the lightsaber I made at Galaxy's Edge was my story, and my favorite color is blue. So that's what I went with. So that would be my advice. As far as making a double-bladed lightsaber, if they have them in stock and they're not currently retired, like the Darth Maul one, they used to be, you could buy one, and then you could buy another one, and they sold an attachment. You can attach them together and do it that way, or just do it one at a time. But as of right now, I don't think there's a double-bladed one you can buy. But that may change when you go. It depends on when you go. Ben says, how much did you say you learned about ILM after watching the docuseries? Anything really surprising? A ton. I learned so much. I filled my notebook full of notes of things I didn't know before because I'm thinking of it for a future top 5. I learned a lot, Ben. And, you know, there's so many documentaries that are out now about ILM and have been for 40 years. But I think there's a lot more in here that I've never seen or heard. So you are going to love it. It's really, really terrific. Promise. It's gonna blow you away. Not only with the Star Wars stuff, but Indiana Jones, Marvel, all that. It's great. It's great stuff. So I mentioned how I get looking forward to next summer. Remember again that with me and MEI Mouse Fan Travel, you can join me on the Galactic Star Cruiser in Walt Disney World the summer of 2023. Can't wait for that. I hope as many of you can come as possible. Blake says, can we expect a top 5 from the ILM series we can do here with the family? Yes, you can expect that, Blake. I definitely want to do that, for sure. Josh says, sorry I was late, been getting work done so I can head south to San Diego Comic-Con. No worries, Josh. It's good to have you here, of course. You know the feed will be available for you on the podcast feed, all your podcast catchers. I will upload this to Instagram and YouTube as well, and of course be in Facebook. Josh, good luck this week at San Diego Comic-Con. We're looking forward to your Jaws panel and all the other great work. Lori says, I like the panel Celebration Light and Magic. Lori, it's great. Just wait until you see the documentary. It's fabulous. Minta, may the force be with you. And Dave says, going to be there, Dan, 2023. Great, Dave. That's awesome. We'll place the box together. Mary says, Josh, can't wait to see your updates on San Diego Comic-Con. It's going to be great. Brian, great way to start the week. Thanks to people like you, my friend, for joining us. David, great to have you here. Josh, again, good luck. Everybody, have a great one. It's time to go watch the Home Run Derby. But if you have any Star Wars comments or questions, please go into the CWK Cafe, our Facebook group, and share them there. We have a lot of great conversations, a lot of great people with a lot of passion and insights into Star Wars. CoffeeWithKenobi.com/community. So good. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for me. I will see you next week. Blake says, love y'all. It's the best Star Wars community in the galaxy. Yes, I agree. Thanks, man. Daniel, may the force be with you. Mary, have a great week. And Jason, you and Henrik as well. Thanks again for joining me, everybody. We'll see you next time. And be sure to bring a friend, too. We'll all have lots of Star Wars fun together. Peace out. Peace out? Really? Is that my outro? This is the live podcast you're looking for. See you next time.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along. Move along.